Good morning and welcome to thank you, the sacred freedom through your inner authority and intuition. I'm so happy to be here with you. I am Reverend Wendy Silvers for those that are here for maybe the first time with me. Uh, I hosted a stillness and prayer summit the other week and sent out a survey. And from the survey, the responses that I received were that people were really interested in increasing their intuition, strengthening their intuition. So I felt called to offer this particular pop up. And I just want to ask you, is this something that you're interested in learning more about? Your intuition, just put a yes or a no. I see a head shaking in the comment box. So I'm going to set the tone for our time. We're going to just move into the silence for just a few seconds. It's how I begin everything. Is wonderful. Thank you for the responses. I set the tone all the time by moving into the silence and speaking a centering word. This is non-religious. So if anybody's here that has a particular faith, I simply invite you to um, come in, come in with your faith, be with us. It's not a separation. Lord knows at this particular climate that we're living in, I am one of those people that is a real stand for finding our similarities, coming together and finding where we're similar rather than focusing on where we're different. So, my agreement also that I just ask of each and every one of you is that what we speak here stays here. When I open up the mic for sharing, I will pause the recording so that nobody has to hear what you're sharing in honor of confidentiality. So do I just get an agreement from everybody that we're just gonna, okay, great, I see one head shaking. I see a yes. Okay, fabulous. Just let me know in the box. I see thumbs up. Awesome. If you are willing to keep what we share here confidential. That looks like a really cozy room, Lori, by the way. So, all right, so let's just take a breath together, breathing in through your nose and exhaling through your mouth, bringing your awareness to your heart center, breathing in and out, allowing everything that has come before this present moment to simply fall away, and consciously moving, intentionally moving your awareness to your heart center and resting in your heart. You can, if you wish, put your hand on your heart to just remind you that the focus is sitting in your heart. And as we meet in the global heart, the intention is to be open and receptive to all that comes forth, to let go of anything that feels like limitation, judgment, opinion, fear, doubt, worry, just sitting in this open space. Imagine sitting in this beautiful field with gorgeous wildflowers, a blue sky, body of water nearby. The temperature is just right. The sun is shining, and you are surrounded by this exquisite light. Feeling yourself bathed, immersed, saturated, enveloped, embraced by this light. And the feeling in your body is peace. Simply sit in that field for a few more seconds. Imagine at the very center of your being is this beautiful liquid gold ball of light. And with every inhalation, this ribbon of golden white light extends above you, below you, in front of you, behind you, on either side of you, so that you are contained, enveloped in this beautiful golden white light, like this liquid tube. And no thing can enter this field uninvited. This is your sacred space. Feel what it feels like to be enveloped, held, loved, illuminated. And dedicating these moments to the upliftment, the healing, the illumination, the strengthening of that divinely intuitive faculty within each and every person. I invite in the enlightened, evolved, benevolent ancestors, ascended masters, teachers, guides, angels, God, love, to direct, lead, guide, protect each and every person. And with deep and abiding thankfulness for all that unfolds, I simply allow this word to be, knowing it is done, knowing it is so, I say, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Ashe. And gently returning back into the space, welcoming you. Did anything rise up within you, an intention, a thought, an awareness while you were in that space? If so, just write it in the comment box. And we can just sit with that and hold each other's intentions. That's the power of truly, that's the power of intention, and that's the power of community, the power of being together. Lovely is that we get to empower and support what rises up within us. Beautiful. So I'm going to ask you a question. Do you believe that everyone is intuitive? Yes, no, maybe, yes. Brenda's shaking her head, maybe. So do you believe that you are intuitive? Lori's a yes. At our core, yes. And so, yes, yes, if it's nurtured, yes, absolutely. So the, yes, absolutely. So here we are in this sacred container that is absolutely devoted to remembering that you have this faculty at the very center of your being, that no one and no thing can take it from you. It's yours. This sacred freedom is within you. And it arises, this sacred freedom arises when intuition and inner authority are trusted, are relied upon more than fear, conditioning, or perceived domination. And that means that in these times where there's a lot of volatility, some people might agree with what's some of the things that are happening. Some people might not agree. Every day might seem like a new experience. Oh my God, now what's happening? Who's doing what? Who said what? Wow. And there can be this disconnect from your own inner wisdom. One of the reasons that I love Magdalene so much, Mary Magdalene so much, is because she followed a path of intuitive guidance. How many of you have followed a something inside of your heart? Logically, you might have been like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know where this is going to lead me. I'm not quite sure. But there is something that is guiding me, right? Something. We're in the month of February, for those that are watching the recording. We're in the month of February. And some refer to Esther because of the holiday Purim. But but what's really more important symbolically is both Esther and Magdalene were following their intuitive guidance. Because back in the day, when those women were alive, women had virtually no power, no voice, no perceived authority, even though, you know, like all women, have the power to create life, if so choosing to do that. So at the core, you all have this intuitive faculty. Society would have you disbelieve what your body tells you. Because how can you control people? You have them question their own knowing. And so I'm not saying this as a man, masculine, feminine thing. Women have access to intuition in a different way than men do. We are connected to the moon and the lunar phases. Anybody here feel like a lunatic when the moon phases change? I know I have. At moments, I'm like, oh my God. Or when, if you are still bleeding, those moments of in your moontime, you are connected to this wisdom. And it's also, we entered the Pisces, right? Tapping into the underworld. So all of this is to say that you have this ability, like Esther, like Magdalene, to honor that wisdom within you. One's transmitting, one's receiving. But the whole feminine walk is receiving. Even our bodies are shaped that way. We take in. But it's not meant to disempower you. It is meant to empower you. So how many times have you felt something, had a flash that moved through your awareness that you discounted? I'm curious. On a scale of 1 to 10, how many times did that happen? Too many. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyone else? 8. Okay, great. Thank you for your honesty. I know there were times in my life where I can remember a particular situation a couple years ago where there was somebody that I knew, and I was helping them arrange something, and they were insisting that something didn't happened, and I felt in my body this, and it involved another person. In my body, this person was asking me to send a message to this other person that it was like, that didn't happen. That's not accurate. And and in spite of even my body telling me, no, that's not true, because for some reason I thought this other person had some kind of authority or power, I followed through. And I even said, this is really hard for me to share with you, and this is what this person said. And I could feel it in my body. So what I want you to say, what I want to say to you is there's the clairs, okay, which means clear. Clear seeing, clear hearing, clear knowing, clear sensing. So the seeing is seeing beyond the visible. The hearing is hearing beyond the audible. It's those words that whisper in your ears and you look around and you're like, who said that? It's that clear knowing. From the time I was a little girl, I would know things and I'd be like, how do I know this? Like, where is this coming from? Like, I didn't study this, I don't know this. And the clear sensing, clairsentience, clear sensing, you feel it in your body. So, an exercise that I would invite each and every person to practice for the next 7 days is when you walk into a space, when you enter into a conversation, when you are listening or watching, both watching and listening for both, for people that are hearing and visually abled or disabled, differently abled. How are you feeling in your body? Where are you feeling in your body? The whole idea of responsibility is the ability to respond. When you accelerate and amplify and strengthen your intuitive capacities and your faculties, your ability to tune in increases. And it's got to be intentional. So for the next 7 days, when you walk into a space, when you enter into a conversation, as you are receiving the energy, where are you receiving it? How do you feel when somebody says something? Do you feel like, hell yes? Or do you feel like, oh, like the dog, right? A dog looks at you where they're trying to understand something. They're like, do you feel that when somebody says something? Or are you like, no? I invite you, I don't have it in front of me at my desk, but I carry a little book with me everywhere I go. And I write down, or grab your phone and put it in notes. I write down what rises up inside of me. Because to strengthen your intuition takes practice. That's why anybody who's been at the prayer circles that I lead or any of the other programs that I've led, I talk about spiritual practice. To strengthen your intuition requires practice, a willingness to make a mistake, a willingness to be right, a willingness to trust yourself. So are you willing to do that for the next 7 days? Okay, maybe. Uh, yes, absolutely. Because here's what I also want to tell you. Your intuition isn't going to be logical. And nowhere in sacred text ever are the words, figure it out. That is not a strategy for success with the capital S, which is about soul success. So is anybody here kind of a conscious activist, spiritual activist? Anybody here somewhat politically inclined? I see one person raising their hand. I see. Okay, you don't. I'm not saying you have to be. I'm just trying to get a sense of who's in the room. Because Esther, right? I talked about Esther, operated within political power, risk, visibility, and consequence. Esther, all good. Esther was strategic, measured, and deeply discerning. I want you to write that word down. Discern. That is what, by strengthening your intuitive power, you increase your capacity to discern, for discernment. So Esther listened before she spoke. And what is she listening to? Her inner prompting. So many times in conversation, people are listening, formulating an answer so they can jump in there and say something, right? You hear that. If you see something, say something. Yes. Yes, if you're witnessing some kind of horrific abuse or some kind of misuse, abuse of power, yes, you see something, you say something. That's a whole nother pop-up. But in terms of strengthening your intuition, you pause, you listen. Do all of you have a sitting practice, a meditative practice? Yes. Okay. Because the way that you attune yourself to that voice, wonderful. Oh, I love that. Everybody here has a meditation practice. So the way that you dial up your ability to hear is through meditation, through practices of getting still. Because and also, you know how Sufi dancing, anybody here, if you do that movement, you're raising your vibration, your frequency. So when you're moving in stillness, or you put on some kind of instrumental music, or some 432 hertz music where you're raising your vibration, you become more attuned to that inner voice, because that inner voice is always broadcasting. And as you put in the comments before, many of you, the difference between people being in tune with their intuition is the separation, believing in that there's a separation between people that are intuitive and practice it and people that don't. When I asked you if you think everybody is intuitive. So you are born with that faculty. You're born with it, the ability to intuit. When there's people, I know this darling, he's so darling. His name is Maurice, and he's my friend, and he's 89 years old, and he's spry and funny and warm, and he's the sweetest. And his life story is phenomenal. Like, he left his family when he was, I think, 12. I mean, he's incredible. And he was very, very successful in the stock market. Now, Maurice doesn't want to talk to me about intuition. He knows what I do, but he doesn't want to, like, he's like, yeah, yeah. But Maurice was really successful. And what Maurice has said to me every time we talk about this, he's like, he's very funny. He's like, I didn't analyze. I didn't read anything. I just felt. And if you see, I'm like right here, the solar plexus, that place within you, right? He's like, I felt, and I would advise people. And he was incredibly successful. But he didn't realize what he was actually doing was tapping into his intuition. That's what was guiding him. So people often say, ah, you know, I'm not intuitive. I just had a feeling and I went with it. You have an opportunity to genuinely strengthen your intuition. So, number one, the sitting, and you're going to imagine you're raising your vibration. You're listening to music that raises your vibration. Two, you are going to enter into situations for this is for the next 7 days. So I'm not sure. I guess you're going to just have to email me, or maybe we have a follow up pop up because I know we're almost at time. Is it okay with everyone if we go over just a few minutes? Yes? Okay, good. Um, so for the next 7 days, what I invite you to do is to get your little book. It can be really, it's like a little book. So here's one of my little books, right? So I have this little book that I carry with me, and here's my little pen. And I like writing. I know it's very popular today to use your notes, but I feel like there's science does show this, but it activates an aspect of my brain that I want to keep active when I do pen to paper. So I do pen to paper. You get to choose. And write down, how are you feeling when you're having a conversation, when you're hearing or seeing something? How are you feeling and where are you feeling it? That's simple. You can do it, to your own comfort, because it's so important to really understand that you have this within you, right? Anybody here, have you ever thought about somebody from your life and then they call you or you bump into them, right? So that's because in the unseen side, that vibration, it's like that vibration gets sent out and it's a magnet. The universe responds by corresponding to the energy that is emitted. And again, for anyone who's been in any kind of program with me, I always talk about we are lighthouses. And I use, for those that might remember, the RKO pictures, I believe it was, used to have this lighthouse as their logo with rays of light that would emanate from them. That was the RKO logo. And that's you. So, what's also really vitally important to remember is that as a sensitive being, anybody here feel like they're a sensitive being? I just see two hands. Nobody else. Okay. So, there's three of us. Okay, four of us. So, the rest are not sensitive. Not true. I'm joking. So, what's also really important, and what I want to invite you to do, is to ground yourself, to make sure before you're moving into any kind of situation, whether it's family, friends, business, to really ground yourself. And one of the ways that I ground, let me find. So, one of my mentors taught me this years ago, which I really love. So this is, if you can see this, can you see this crystal? Okay. So I'm not saying you have to get this crystal. I happen to like crystals. I'm sorry, I don't think there's anything evil about crystals. They come from the earth, and I love Mama Earth. So there's all beautiful things from the earth. So one of the things that one of my former mentors taught me, which is why I had you do the liquid gold in a tube, is that it's more strengthening for you to surround yourself in a tube than it is a bubble, which I really loved. I loved that because it's also really important, especially for women, regarding boundaries. I know I'm dropping a lot of seeds here. Um, is this helpful? Is this helpful? Okay, great. Great. I see head shaking. Would you like more of this? Would you like, because I know yes, okay. So thank you. So for me, like I lived in Manhattan. Sure, you're welcome. I lived in Manhattan for many years. I'm from the East Coast. And I would leave my apartment on my way to work. I'd be like up, I'd be listening to like, B-52's Rock Lobster. I'm ready to go, getting dressed, going. I'd leave my house, I'd get on the train, I'd go to work, and then I'd be like, oh, get in my office, sit in my office, and I'd be like, oh my God. And I was like, what is happening? So back then I had a different mentor, and she was like, you didn't protect yourself. Now, I'm not saying that you have to walk around the world afraid, right? Not me, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, as a sensitive being, sometimes we can be very porous, and we can receive energies from places, from people that's not ours. I want you to have your own energy signature, not somebody else's. Because the way that you continue to strengthen your intuition is by your own energy signature, not somebody else's. Make sense? Yeah. So my invitation is to just, again, for the next, I'm giving you this 7 days, you get to decide. Thank you, Caitlin. So you get to decide to make sure that you are really immersing yourself. It's part of what I do for myself, and it's what I teach, because I want you to have that strength. Because a huge aspect of your strengthening your intuitive capacity is having your own boundaries. If any of you ever want to do readings for someone, it's imperative. Because when I sit in front of somebody else and I'm doing a reading, I don't want to lose my own boundaries to provide a healing space for somebody else, because it doesn't serve them and it doesn't serve me. So it would not be helpful to someone. So as we wrap up, I just want to let you know that you have this capacity within you. There are absolutely exercises that you can do in addition to this one so that you can stand in your life. Maybe you don't relate to Esther. That's okay. I'm bringing these historical figures present because they're relevant in today's world. What we are faced with in today's world is standing like Magdalene. She stood for inner authority and wisdom and temperance. And Esther stood for strategy and discernment and going forward and protecting. Each person had a call on their heart, right? You have a particular call on your heart, whether it's just in your family, your community, or in a larger space. It's all relative. Quantum physics, past, future, all in the present. The seeds that you plant today, right here, right now, become the tender shoots in the future. So, what do you already know that you keep doubting? What do you already know that you keep doubting? My greatest gift would be to help you remember and stand in your own power, stand in your trust. And that's why I love Magdalene and Esther, because they showed us that intuition isn't a personality trait. Nobody gave that to them. It's a spiritual practice. Anybody here have a charge on the word discipline? I see one head's like, okay, so one person, nope, a couple of people don't. So, yes, yeah, a couple of people do, a couple of people don't. Makes perfect sense. So when I talk about a spiritual practice, there's a little bit of discipline, but what I want to invite you to consider is that within the word discipline is the word disciple. So you get to, it's a choice. You get to infuse what you're doing with devotion. So I'm really, I'm really honored that we had this chance. I'm gonna to be together. I'm gonna pause and see. You're so welcome, Caitlin. I'm gonna pause. I want you to know, thank you so much, Gina. I want to let you know that I am going to be offering the Magdalene Pathway in March, end of March, and that is a 16-week deep dive into all of these different um, modalities and patterns. No pressure. I'm just dropping that. You can always contact me and we can have, a complimentary, clarity and success session. So I'm not putting any pressure on you. I'm letting you know what's available so that you can deepen your practice because what we touched today is like the tip of the iceberg. And you'll see me again. I'm I'm not going anywhere. I am here for you because I really want to help you deepen your own authority, not someone else's, to support you in living, leading, and loving in this world. So beautiful. Thank you, Brenda. So I'm here. I'm going to pause the recording now to see if anyone has any questions and if anyone is interested in talking with me more about the Magdalene pathway or or anything else. I'm going to drop in the comment box how you can connect with me, and we will have a chat so that you can feel supported, and you can also enter into an application to be part of the Magdalene pathway because that is going to be by I'm asking for applications to make sure that people are really serious about the commitment. So it might not be for everybody, and I don't I don't believe in forcing anyone to do something. I believe that if there's a little something inside of you that's like, yes, I believe that that is your spirit saying, I want to do that. I want to do that. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Gina. So I'm going to pause this for now and see if there's any questions, and then we'll come back and close out. All right, so closing out this wonderful time. Ah, beautiful, Colorado. All right, so my heart is just filled and overflowing with gratitude and thanksgiving for this time together with each and every beautiful soul who participated. I bless them and I bless anyone who is within earshot of this pop up today. I call forth peace and peace of mind, health, wholeness, vitality, vibrancy. I call forth the strengthening and the trust of their intuitive wisdom that is implanted at the very center of their being that connects them to this divine presence. I call forth mercy and forgiveness and grace and celebration. I call forth abundance and prosperity, prosperous living, relationships that are harmonious. And I call forth all good things unfolding in each and every person's life. And with an open and grateful heart for this and so much more than words can say or eyes can see, I simply allow this word to be, knowing it is done. Knowing it is so, I say, Amen, Amen, Ashe, Aho, it is done. And so it is. Thank you. Om Shanti, beautiful souls. I'll see you soon.